We have in studio with us a dear friend of ours, Stephen Waguespack, who is the head cheese of the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. WAGS, we call him. I know you're up here meeting with a lot of folks, but you're keeping an eye on lawmakers too. The cat tax, the governor's cat tax, is it indeed dead, as we've heard?
Well, there's a lot of bad cliches on this thing. So every cat has 9 lives and all that stuff. So we can go through all those. And technically, it's dead. It died in committee last week. It was a horrible bill. It should have died. It should have never been presented in the first place. So we think it's dead. But there's 40 days left in session. And until the last gavel goes down, we watch everything like a hawk.
Is anybody in the administration still fighting for that? Are they still canvassing legislators? Still hoping like a last-minute Heimlich maneuver, as it were?
Well, I think the game plan for the administration is this. I think they rolled out this proposal early. It was cumbersome. It was controversial. No one really liked it. I think they were okay with that. I think they were fine with it dying in committee. So now they can go and say, look, we tried. Y'all don't like our plan? It's up to you. And they want to wash their hands of it. And so I think what you're going to hear over the next month from the administration is, come on, legislature, bring your plan. And basically, punt the leadership to the legislature, which I think is, we all know we're in a tough situation down there. We need folks rolling up their sleeves and getting things done instead of punting leadership to others. And I think that's what you're going to see over the next month.
Was the strategy to some degree of the John Bell administration was to go into this session with a shotgun approach? We're just gonna propose a whole ton of taxes and registrations and fees and see if we can get 1 or 2 or 3 to stick.
Well, last year in the session, they put some temporary taxes on. They said, but we're going to put this blue ribbon panel together, and they're going to study a bunch of stuff. And over the end of the year, we're going to have this great report that's going to tell us the right policy going forward. And in November, that report came out. And then basically the administration looked at it for a couple months, and after that they said, you know what, we don't want to do that anymore. Instead, we're going to go in a dark room. We're going to put together this convoluted cat tax that no one liked. I mean, I've never seen a tax unify opponents like this tax
Even
did.
The Dems were.
Everyone hated it. This wasn't a partisan hit job. Everyone hated it because it was really bad policy. We had chambers from other states calling us and saying, listen, they tried to do this. Don't let them do it here.
Let's talk, since you mentioned the chamber, our Chamber of Commerce Shreveport has endorsed a 17-cent gas tax. The Bossier Chamber did not, but several chambers around the state did. The Louisiana Association of Business and Industry, you obviously want our roads to be good. Your businesses need our roads to be good, so we got to fix them. Is the gas tax the answer?
I think there's no issue that better defines the lack of trust people have in how government spends money than this gas tax. Because if you talk about roads all around the state, people say, look, we need to do more. We need something better. But then you ask them about a gas tax, and they immediately say, no way, because they don't trust where the money's going to be spent. If the government was doing their job right, it would be viewed as a user fee, and you could go to them and say, all right, we're going to build that road, we're going to pave that, we're going to improve that port, we're going to do this bridge. People would say, okay, I can trust you, I'll do that. People don't trust the system. So what we've said is, Governor, you have to come out and you have to say exactly what projects you want to build, exactly how people can trust that the money won't be pilfered for something else. If you do that, that trust maybe can be rebuilt. Until that time, I think it's premature. What
are we looking at in terms of income tax changes that will impact me and Robert, the regular guy, and then that will also impact businesses?
I don't know. I mean, it's fun. I'm glad you said the business part, though, because we estimate between 20 and 40% of business taxes flows through the personal income tax. If you're a small business, you likely pay through personal income tax. So our guys are just as animated about that as any other tax. And the short answer is no one knows, to be honest with you. We're at the part of the session where everyone's kind of staring at each other in the Capitol, and no one knows what's going to break loose over the next couple of days. People look at 2 deductions on the personal income tax code, the federal income tax deduction and the excess itemized deduction. Mm-hmm. So some people think that might be used as a way to do away with those deductions, lower the rates. We don't know yet, and there's no big consensus yet, but that's the only possibility I see.
We had talked about specifically the cat tax, which seems to be dead. And you had said that the Edwards administration at this point seems to be washing their hands of any number of things and saying to the legislature, okay, you don't like our stuff, you do it on your own. If left to their own devices, is the state legislature motivated, inclined to introduce or bring up anything tax-wise that has any kind of chance?
I think on Monday what you're going to see is two things. One, the House Republicans are going to come out with a plan on the appropriations front. They're going to reveal their spending plan on Monday. And what they're saying they want to do is they want to hold continuation spending. That keeps the spending growth down. And they want to make a 3% reduction from last year's spending level. So they want to put out a cut spending plan. Second from that, on Monday, you're going to see House Ways and Means Committee meet. And now that the cat tax is dead, everyone's looking for Monday, what are they going to let out? Anything? Or certain things, and we don't know that yet. So I would say by mid next week, the House is going to show their hand on what their cuts look like and on what other taxes they may want to, keep alive for the rest of the session.
Let's hope they don't let the cat back out of the bag.
Amen. That would be a catastrophe.
Very good.
I'm catatonic.
What are you most worried about from the business front? What are you most worried about as we head into the final month and a half or so?
I'm most worried about kind of what I consider to be the baseline core things we need for a competitive economy. When I hear from most of our companies, they say, look, inventory taxes, business input taxes, utility taxes, those are the baseline things we need. So I'm worried about those. And then the last thing I'm worried about is just stop changing the law. I have so many small businesses just saying we can't keep up with this, and the departments are starting to hammer us on audits, and we can't keep up with it. We have to hire more CPAs to do all this. The cost of compliance just to stay alive in Louisiana as a business is going through the roof. So if the legislature and administration would just chill out on changing the law all the time, focus on cutting spending this year, let the economy breathe for a year. All these taxes don't sunset till next year. Let's see what can happen over a year of just a healthy, steady economy. So I'd prefer they just chill out, go home, cut some spending, and see what happens next year. I don't think that'll happen, but that's what we're hoping they do.